Hey, I'm from Stauf's Coffee Roasters, and today we'll be making a Chemex. So what we have here is an 8-cup Chemex. The reason we're using this is just because this is what we use in stores. If you have a different size Chemex, feel free to adjust the measurements you see in this video to fit your specific size Chemex. You'll also need a gooseneck kettle, Chemex filters, a scale. If you don't have a scale, don't worry about it. We'll be making a lot of different adjustments throughout the video to fit your specific needs at home, a timer, and of course, coffee. So to start, you're going to take your filters. So if you can see, there are 4 flaps on here. So you're going to put 3 towards the spout and 1 towards the handle. So the reason that these filters are designed this way is to keep the filter in place on the Chemex itself and distribute the weight evenly. So next what you're going to do is you're going to take your water. So we have this at 204 degrees. If you don't have a thermometer at home, it's either just before boiling or it's after the water reaches a boil. You let it sit for 30 seconds and then you should be good. You're going to wet the filter. So the reason that we do this is twofold. So we do this first to keep the filter in place. And if you can see down here, there's some condensation at the bottom of the Chemex. So the Chemex is actually being warmed by the hot water. This is so important because if your Chemex is cold or at room temperature, your coffee will actually take on the temperature of the Chemex. So you may end up with a cold cup of coffee or maybe a cup of coffee that's inconsistent in temperature. So you just want to pour that out right afterwards. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to take the coffee. So if you can see here, the coffee is ground at a little bit of a coarser grind. So it's medium to coarse. It's between a drip coffee maker and a French press. So a little bit coarser than a drip coffee, a little bit finer than a French press. And we have 40 grams here, which is equivalent to 8 or 9 tablespoons, depending on the roast. What we're using today is a Nicaragua SHG Vienna. The really cool thing about using a dark roast is that a dark roast has a nice toasted flavor that you can get due to the clarity of the Chemex, but it's still a really clean cup of coffee, so you don't get any of that muddleness that might come with a darker roast. After you pour the coffee in, if you have a scale, you're going to want to zero it out. And next what we're going to do is what's called the bloom. So what we're going to do is you're going to pour a little bit of coffee. You want to get the most amount of coffee covered with the least amount of water. So this is about 30 grams or about 1 to 2 fluid ounces of water. You want to start your timer for 30 seconds. So what's happening during the bloom is that the coffee is getting saturized so that the gases are releasing during those 30 seconds that you're letting it sit. So this just makes for a nice consistent cup of coffee. So after the bloom, you're going to want to pour in a nice, consistent, even circular motion. So it's about 30 seconds. So starting from the center, going out and going back in again. Keeping your hands steady. If your hands are a little bit shaky, like mine are, you might want to keep your hand at the top of the kettle. So you're going to be doing this in 20 to 30 second intervals, keeping your coffee from exceeding about an inch from the top. So in terms of time, Chemexes are really fluctuating in time, so you want to keep it either between 3 minutes and 30 seconds or 7 minutes, but time isn't really what's important to us. What we really want to see out of this is 625 grams of coffee at the end of it, or if you don't have a scale, about to right here. So we're going to continue to let the coffee drain, pouring it back up again in that circular motion in and out until we reach 625 grams. All right, so now that our Chemex has reached 625 grams, we're going to stop pouring water in and just let it continue dripping. All right, so our coffee has reached about this point and it's finishing up dripping. So what we're going to do next is just take the filter and dispose of it. And that is how you make a Chemex. From Stauf's Coffee Roasters, thanks for watching.